Mathieu stood in the office of the Aviation Accident Investigation Center, gazing through the dim gray mist outside the window at the distant silhouette of the Alps. He knew he was about to embark on a daunting task. His eyes scanned the scattered reports and documents on the desk, feeling a mix of excitement and nerves. This was the biggest challenge of his career, but also his chance to prove himself. Suddenly, the office door gently swung open, and a tall, stern-looking man walked in. He was Mathieu's superior, the senior investigator responsible for assigning missions. "Mathieu, do you know why I've summoned you?" the superior asked, his tone carrying a hint of seriousness and expectation. Mathieu turned around, offering a faint smile. "I do, sir. Is it about the air crash investigation?" "Indeed. This mission is not to be taken lightly." "Are you ready?" the superior inquired, his gaze reflecting anticipation and trust. "I'm prepared. I will do everything in my power to complete this mission and uncover the truth behind the accident," Mathieu replied, his voice firm and confident. The superior nodded, handing Mathieu a thick file. "This contains all the information we have regarding the crash. Study it carefully and follow every lead. This investigation concerns the lives of countless people. Proceed with caution and avoid errors." Mathieu accepted the file, feeling the weight of responsibility it held. "I will. Thank you for your trust. I won't disappoint you." With a nod, the superior turned and headed for the door. "Very well. We await your report. This is your chance to prove yourself, your test. Good luck, Mathieu." "Thank you, sir. I'll begin the investigation immediately," Mathieu said, watching his superior leave the office. He knew this was a turning point in his career, an opportunity, and a challenge. He had to prove his worth, uncover the truth of the crash, and provide closure for the victims' families. As Mathieu took hold of the file, his mind brimmed with the excitement of the challenge and the weight of responsibility. Slowly, he began to sift through the documents, each page potentially holding a crucial piece of information. The office seemed to be enveloped in a tense atmosphere, and he could feel the weight of his responsibility. Lost in the documents, Mathieu's phone suddenly rang. He picked it up to see a call from a colleague named Anna. "Hi, Anna. What's up?" Mathieu answered, curiosity piqued. "Mathieu, have you seen the file? Any new discoveries?" Anna asked anxiously, her voice tinged with worry. "I'm studying it carefully. It seems we need to thoroughly investigate the technical details of the aircraft. The crash may have been caused by technical failure," Mathieu pondered, his voice carrying a note of certainty. "Technical failure? Which experts should we contact to assist in the investigation?" Anna inquired, evidently valuing Mathieu's opinion greatly. "I'll reach out to the aircraft manufacturer and relevant experts to ensure we receive the most professional assistance. This is a monumental task, and we can't afford to be careless," Mathieu replied, his voice resolute. Anna nodded. "All right, I'll contact the relevant personnel as soon as possible. Please report any progress to me promptly. We must uncover the truth and provide closure for the victims' families." "No problem, Anna. I'll update you as soon as possible." "Thanks for your help," Mathieu said, feeling Anna's support and trust. Ending the call, Mathieu dove back into the documents. He knew this would be a long and arduous investigation, but he also believed that the truth would eventually surface. Mathieu sat in the office, holding a black box in his hands, the black box retrieved from the crash site. He put on his headphones, replaying the recordings inside, trying to uncover any clues. As time passed, his expression grew increasingly grave. At that moment, Anna walked into the office. Seeing Mathieu's expression, she immediately realized the severity of the situation. "Mathieu, have you found anything?" Anna asked, her voice tinged with unease. Mathieu paused his actions, took off his headphones, and pondered for a moment before responding. "I've discovered something unusual. It seems that the recordings from the black box have been tampered with. Some key details have been deleted or altered." Anna's face also turned serious upon hearing this. Are you sure? What does this mean? Furrowing his brow, Mathieu replied, I'm not certain, but it could mean that the evidence we've been relying on may not be complete. Perhaps someone wanted to cover up the truth or manipulate the data from the black box for some purpose. Anna nodded. This is serious. We need to take immediate action to find out what happened. Do you have any ideas? After a moment of thought, Mathieu responded, I need to contact the aircraft manufacturer and experts again to examine the integrity of the black box. We also need to expand the scope of the investigation to uncover more clues. We can't stop. We must uncover the truth. Anna nodded in agreement. Yes, we can't let anyone cover up the truth. Please begin the investigation as soon as possible. I'll fully support your efforts. Feeling Anna's support, Mathieu put his headphones back on, determined to pursue the investigation to the end. This time, he would be even more meticulous, examining every detail carefully and not letting any clues slip through the cracks. As Mathieu and Anna discussed the next steps of their investigation, a man in a suit suddenly knocked on the office door. He was one of the senior executives, wearing a stern and displeased expression on his face. Mathieu, we need to talk about your recent investigative actions, he said, his tone carrying suppressed emotions, evidently dissatisfied with Mathieu's investigation. Mathieu and Anna exchanged a glance, then Mathieu stood up to face the man. Sir, I believe our investigation is necessary. We've uncovered some unusual leads, suggesting someone may be attempting to conceal the truth. We can't stop the investigation. We need to find out the truth behind the crash and provide closure for the victims' families. The senior executive frowned. Mathieu, I understand your perspective, but you must realize this is an extremely sensitive case. We can't act recklessly. Now, I'm asking you to cease your investigation, hand over all documents, and submit to scrutiny by the investigation team. Mathieu listened but remained composed. Sir, I won't stop the investigation. This is my responsibility and my belief. We must seek the truth, no matter the cost. The senior executive's expression grew sterner. He cleared his throat. Mathieu, you've received your final warning. If you persist, there will be serious consequences. Mathieu calmly met the man's gaze. Understood, sir. But I won't back down. I'm willing to face the consequences. After a moment of silence, the senior executive shook his head in resignation and left the office. Mathieu and Anna exchanged another glance. They knew they would face greater pressure and threats, but their determination remained unshaken. As Mathieu's investigation delved deeper, he began to uncover a massive conspiracy, putting his own life at risk. He found evidence pointing to the involvement of certain high-ranking officials in the crash, which raised his suspicions and unease. One night, as Mathieu prepared to leave the office, he suddenly felt someone following him. His heart raced as he quickened his pace, trying to shake off the pursuer, but the person persisted. Finally, as he walked into a dark alley, someone emerged from the shadows and attacked him with a powerful punch. Mathieu didn't have time to react. The blow landed on his face, causing intense pain, and he lost his balance, falling to the ground. Struggling to stand up, Mathieu noticed a group of people surrounding him, their faces twisted with malice, wielding various weapons, evidently there to harm him. You shouldn't be digging into this, Mathieu. This is our territory. You'd better abandon the investigation, or you'll be responsible for the consequences. A tall, menacing man stepped forward, coldly warning him. With blood streaming down his face, Mathieu gritted his teeth and declared firmly, I won't give up. You can't stop me from uncovering the truth. Hearing his words, the assailants grew angrier, launching furious attacks at Mathieu. With only his steadfast belief and his training, Mathieu fought back against them. In a fierce struggle, Mathieu found himself pushed to the brink. His body was covered in bruises, but he refused to give up. At the most critical moment, a beam of light suddenly appeared as police vehicles arrived at the scene, halting the violence. Mathieu was rushed to the hospital for treatment. Despite his severe injuries, his resolve remained unwavering. He knew the attack was orchestrated by those trying to conceal the truth, but he also understood that only by persevering could he uncover the truth behind the crash and deliver justice for the victims. In the hospital room, Mathieu lay in bed, his facial wounds slowly healing. Anna sat by his bedside, looking at him with concern. "Mathieu, do you really want to continue this investigation? Look at yourself. It's too dangerous," and his voice was filled with worry. Mathieu smiled faintly. "Anna, I can't stop. This is not only my responsibility, but also a matter of respect for all the victims. I can't let those conspirators escape punishment." Anna shook her head. "But they've already attacked you, and they're willing to go to any lengths to protect themselves. I'm worried about your safety." Mathieu reached out to gently touch Anna's shoulder. "I know it's dangerous, but I can't stand idly by. It's not just for myself, but for our society. We can't allow dark forces to manipulate the truth." Suddenly, the door of the hospital room opened, and a mysterious stranger walked in, his face shrouded in shadow. He looked at Mathieu, his gaze icy and warning. "Mathieu, are you sure you want to continue this investigation?" The stranger's voice carried a low, threatening tone, like a chilling breeze. Mathieu stared back at the stranger. "I won't stop until the truth is revealed. Your conspiracies will be exposed." The stranger smirked coldly. "Your courage will cost you." As the stranger left, Anna nervously asked, "Who was that?" Mathieu shook his head. "I don't know, but they're definitely part of the conspiracy. I can't back down out of fear. I will continue this investigation, no matter the cost." Anna nodded. "Okay, I'll support you, but please promise me, take care of yourself." Mathieu held Anna's hand. "I promise you, I won't take unnecessary risks. But this investigation can't stop. We must fight for the truth." Through Mathieu's relentless efforts, he successfully uncovered the truth behind the air disaster. After extensive investigation, he found more evidence proving that the conspirators involved multiple levels, including senior executives, technical experts, and even certain government agencies. It was a vast conspiracy aimed at covering up the truth of the plane crash to protect the interests of certain individuals. Mathieu submitted this evidence to an independent investigative body to ensure that the truth would not be tampered with. Together with Anna, they faced various obstacles and pressures, but their perseverance and courage ultimately triumphed over everything. In the end, the investigative body released their findings, exposing all the details of the conspiracy. Journalists reported this explosive news, causing shock and outrage in society. People learned that the conspirators would stop at nothing to protect their selfish interests, even willing to sacrifice innocent lives. At a press conference, Mathieu stood on the platform facing questions from reporters. His face bore the marks of time, but the light in his eyes shone even brighter. "Mr. Mathieu, how do you view the outcome of this investigation?" A reporter raised their hand to ask. Mathieu smiled as he replied, "This is not just my victory, but a victory for justice. We uncovered a vast conspiracy, protected the truth, and provided a fair account for the victims and their families. It has been a challenging journey, but we have proven through action that unwavering courage can overcome any darkness.